Welcome back to Briggs on Books. Are you about to pick the next read for the fall or for the winter? Hey, I've got a trilogy. I love a trilogy. I've got a trilogy here for you, and it is the Reaper, the Sower, and Judgment Day. Not only do I have the books here, but guess what? I've got the author as well. Welcome, Rob Jung. Hello, Rob.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Tell our viewers where you are.
I am in St. Paul, Minnesota, actually in a southern suburb of St. Paul.
Now, this series, this trilogy, is it a trilogy?
Yes.
And the most recent one to come out, I guess, is The Judgment. Well, tell us about the whole trilogy.
The trilogy started because of a painting that disappeared from the 1937 Paris World Exposition by an avant-garde artist named Joan Moreau. I've been a Moreau fan all my adult life, and my wife and I were in Barcelona and went to a Moreau museum and learned about this painting that disappeared. And from that painting, which still has never been found, arose the story, the Reaper, which was the English translation of the name of the painting. And I started it out thinking I was writing a standalone book, and when I got to the end, I realized it wasn't over. So I wrote a sequel, and then when I got about 50 pages into the sequel, I realized there was a third story involved. So it ended up being a trilogy.
The Reaper, the Sower, and Judgment Day. Does the cover represent the painting?
The cover, if you look closely at the cover of the Reaper, the painting, the cover is actually a picture frame with a Reaper type character holding a dripping paintbrush.
Ah,
But the background behind the picture frame is actually the Reaper itself, the actual picture of the Reaper.
yeah, I just zoomed in on that. It's amazing. I see now. I love book covers that kind of have these hidden Easter eggs or whatever you want to call them. Now,
Yeah.
when did you start the series and when did you finish?
I started the series in, let's see, probably about 2017, and the Reaper was published in 2019,
Hmm.
and then I finished it with Judgment Day, which just was released in what, April of this year, I think,
Yeah,
something like that.
I think our producers stumbled upon that book and said, we got to get this guy on. It's fascinating, fascinating story. So would you say it's historical fiction or is it a straight novel?
No, I tend to cross genres. So the first book, The Reaper, is actually two novellas under one cover.
Nice.
The first half of it is historical fiction, what happened the last week of the 1937 Paris World Exposition.
Hmm.
And then the second half of the book fast forwards to 2009 and how that missing painting, still missing, impacts the life of a struggling artist from St. Paul, Minnesota, and his powerful but estranged mother.
Okay.
That's the theme. The conflict between mother and son is the theme through the rest of the trilogy.
Well, let's stick on that. So the painters in Minnesota, I want to go to this, and you're in Minnesota, and there's an
Right.
event you have once a month, I think. Is it the third Monday?
Yep. Yep. It's called Minnesota Mystery Night. We pull in top mystery or thriller writers, put them in conversation with somebody very interesting, and we we just have a very wonderful evening. We have a great venue. It seats about 80 people. We pack it every Monday that we're there, and we're bringing in some national authors now.
Yeah.
Tracy Clark from Chicago is going to come in. We've had Nick Petrie from Milwaukee working on Don Winslow, although he's not writing anymore, but hopefully he'll be back to that.
So this is mostly a live event, or can people attend remotely?
No, it is a live event, but come the first of the year, it is going to be a radio show also.
Well, that's great. Yeah, by the
So
way, I put on the screen www.mnmysterynight.com. So that stands for Minnesota Mystery Night.
that's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. It's great that's happening in your community. Now, these books that we're talking about today, those are not your first. I stumbled upon another one here. Let's see, about the Cold War. No, Cloud Warriors.
Warriors.
I keep saying
Well,
Cold War. It's Cloud Warriors, a paranormal thriller. Tell us a little bit about that.
everything I write it is set in the modern day, but starts with some historical event that's true. And the historical event that underpins Cloud Warriors is a, confederation of small tribes that lived at the very top of the Andes Mountains at the time of the Incans. And the Incans called them the Chachapoyas, which is a Quechua word, Indian Quechua word. If you translate it to English, it's either cloud people or cloud warriors. What makes them unique is that the people in this conglomeration of tribes had the same complexion, eye color, and hair color as you do, which is a little odd for that part of the world. And so I took that historical fact and turned it into a story that, in essence, is my fictional rant against the greed of the pharmaceutical industry.
Holy cow. Now, since your books are partly based on real things, I love that World's Fair and Spain and everything. You have to do a lot of research?
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of what I love.
Yeah.
I've got two in the works right now, one set in Ireland and one set in Galena, Illinois. Galena fictionally, in this case. I'll think a different name up for it. But both of which are I've basically stumbled over while I was traveling. So now I've got to go back to both places and do some on the ground research for both of them.
You have to go to Ireland?
Yep.
Pretty tough duty, Rob.
Well, I found it on a trip to Ireland in 2016, and so we're going to go back and do that again, hopefully next spring. But that's a book that I've been wanting to write for a long time.
Now let me ask you these. I have your, of course, the Minnesota Mystery Night, mnmysterynight.com, but we also have robyoungwriter.com. It's Jung, by the way, Rob Jung Writer. What would people find if they visit your website?
Well, they'll find my books, of course. They will find information about Minnesota Mystery Night. They will find my monthly newsletter, which is called The View from Middle Spunk Creek, which is sort of my tongue-in-cheek look at the world. You can sign up for the newsletter. You can sign up for the Minnesota Mystery Night distribution list. You can sign up for my books. You'll see my schedule. That's sort of the standard stuff that's on all authors' websites. Yeah. So pretty much that. Anything new coming out.
I would guess your books are available at all the usual places.
That's correct. Yeah, you can get them online. You can get them through my website. You can get them at probably in California. You'd have to order them from your bookstore where you're located. But they're all available from Ingram, which is the world's biggest book distributor. So. Yes.
Now, what formats? Are paperback, I'd imagine?
Paperback and ebooks. And the first book, The Reaper, will be out in audio by before the first of the year. I'm hoping to make it in time for the Christmas market. But
good. Reaper will be out in audio. I got to tell you, Rob, for us old guys, that audio is great. Those words on the pages are getting smaller and smaller. So I'm really doing half my reading on ebooks now, or on audiobooks, I should say.
Yeah. My wife belongs to 4 book clubs, and she listens to a lot of audiobooks because of that, because she can do it while she's doing other things.
Yeah, I go to the gym, I'm driving my car, listen to my wife nag me. I got that ebook going, so all the time. Rob,
you're a brave man to say that for publication.
Well, she doesn't watch my show, so I'm pretty safe.
Oh, okay. So, well, you're all right. Okay.
Now, we're past time. You're the fascinating guy. I'd love to talk to you all day. Just any last thoughts? I'll give you a minute. You want to talk anything about your books or things going on in the world or anything authors and readers should know?
I just have a request of all your listeners, and that is arises out of the difficulty of indie writers, independent writers who aren't backed by the big marketing thing of getting their books known. So if you find an author or a book that you really like when you read it, tell your friends, Don't give them your copy because that doesn't help the author any or the publishing company.
Yeah.
And put up, if you can, put a review on Amazon or Goodreads or BookBub or any of those places online that you can put on. Those are the lifeblood of an indie author in terms of getting their books recognized. That, of course, and podcasts like yours.
Tell me about the review. Do they just click like, or do they need to type a sentence? Do they need to type several paragraphs? What's the best way?
You can there. Well, it depends upon which one you're going on. Remember that if you want to put a review on Amazon, you have to have purchased $50 through Amazon of something in the last 12 or 24 months.
Ah,
Otherwise, you can't post. But if you do that, you can just click a number. There's 1 through 5 rated,
okay.
or you can add a written review, which can be one sentence or half a book, because there's no limit.
Okay, good. Good.
I'm sure they trim it. Other ones have different requirements. Some that require something written. Some you can just rate the book.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that, because I mean, what does it take? I've read a book. I've spent hours and hours and hours. I could take a minute out to. I click on Goodreads a lot and rate books there, but I guess you could rate them right on Amazon as well. I certainly spend $50 a month on Amazon. I should get that right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the more reviews, more good reviews you get on Amazon, of course, the more you make their algorithm happy, and your book gets higher up on
Very good.
the list of shows. So
yeah, and there's, I know we're past time. They're giving me the signal, but there's millions, literally millions of books out there. So
1.6 million every year, roughly.
wow. Thank you, Rob. I hope you'll come back again and again. You're a fascinating guest.
I would love to come back. Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
And I'm going to go look at your websites right now, because they
Okay.
seem very interesting. Thank you, Rob. And for our viewers, stick around. We're going to have another author right after this.